Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Marvel Legends X-Men Beast, part of their retro series, loosely based on the animated series, like not the cell shading ones, but they've been releasing things that are more or less animated, inspired, I guess, by in the retro cards. And this one's not really based on the cartoon, so it's also not, I don't know, they're kind of like sneaking things in here and there, like the Iron Man recently, or just, it's kind of strange. But this is a new Beast, which is almost exactly the same as the old Beast, but there are some differences. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands roughly 7 inches to the top of his hair, which is roughly where the top of his head would be, sort of, because of the way it's kind of flat on top. That's going to make it about 18 centimeters. And if you're not sure about that, we'll go ahead and do a size comparison with Darwin. So he is a little bit taller than your average Marvel Legends figure. Now you might have noticed some differences here between the original Beast, and we'll talk about that. But first we have to do a question of the day. Which version of Beast is your favorite, comic-wise? Any suits or teams or whatever you want to pick. For me, it's clearly the animated series Beast. It's not even close. I like that look by far the most. Alright, so this Beast, aesthetically speaking, it does come with the white lab coat. It's a decent, they did a pretty good job on it. I would say there's not a whole lot more they could have done better. That seems fine to me. So that's good. We'll just count that as good. It's cloth, it's not plastic, and so it's nice and clean. There's no weird marks or anything on it. It fits him relatively well. Articulation is not hindered in any significant way, so that's good. And now we're going to take it off so that we can talk about the rest of the figure, because there's no point in leaving the cloth over him the whole time. You already see what he looks like. That'll be easier probably if we pull the hands off first. Alright, a lot easier. Yeah, so the jacket does come off, obviously. And the first thing you're going to notice, I should probably put the correct hands on the correct sides, or on the respective sides. Anyway, you'll probably notice he is a different color scheme than the other release. And is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Well, first thing I notice is he doesn't have anywhere near as much shading. Very little shading throughout the body compared to the original. We see some on the shoulders, on the chest, and that's it. So it's a lot less, and if you want to see the comparison, this one has it on the shoulders, the forearms, the hands, the chest, the belly, the traps, and the calves, and the tops of the feet. Now, the other thing is, this one has painted claws for the fingers and the toes. This one did not originally. I did it on one of mine, just because I was going to put the custom head on it, and I figured I might as well do the claws too. So yeah, this one does not have the claws painted, this one does, but this one's shading is, it's not really any better. It's like a purpley blue rather than the black, which you might like or you might not, that's up to you. But it is a lot more subtle and a lot more sparingly applied. The belt doesn't look good on mine. Maybe that's not a universal thing though, but otherwise they're about the same paint job. Something I need to note though is this torso, the lower torso on this right here, the obliques on both sides of mine are a totally different color than the rest of the body. I don't know if that's showing up on camera, but they are very, very different. On this one, there's no difference. It's fine. This one, they are like a yellowy blue, almost like a cobaltish blue compared to the main body. So that's strange. Otherwise, the bodies are the same. Obviously, the heads are different. I don't have the head on this one to show you, but we have a new head here, which is this head. And then we have the other head. We'll get to the accessory. So this head has some shading on it, which is, it's a way better looking head than any of the other factory Beast heads we've seen. It does have like a little bit of a wash, or something kind of like a wash. The eyebrows are done well, the eyes are done well, the teeth are okay, mouth is good, the hair is pretty good. It's partly painted, partly a separate piece. So yeah, that's a really nice Beast head. It doesn't match the cartoon at all, of course, but that's the one they did, which is easily by far the best Beast head. This one we had before, and we get it again. I'll just show you now. It is painted much better this time, but that's it for the head. So yeah, aesthetically speaking, it's okay. The blue is obviously a different blue, so for those of you wondering if you can swap parts, not really. Hopefully you can tell. The one on the right is a little bit more on the purple side. This one is a little bit more on the yellowy green side of blue. They're still both blue, don't get me wrong, it's not green, it's not purple, but this one definitely has more red, and this one definitely has more yellow. Especially when it comes to the shading. Like, This one's almost black and this one's purpley, so definitely a difference there. They're fairly close, but definitely not close enough to swap. So like if you already had one of my custom heads, for instance, you're definitely not going to pop it on there without repainting. I probably will sell a very small batch of these custom heads once again. I don't know when I'll get a chance to do it, but I will be doing that, and I'll probably make them match this body, but we'll see. Okay, so aesthetically speaking, it's fine. I definitely miss shading. The other shading was too much and too harsh, but this one definitely needs more, I think, but I guess it's all right. I like that they painted the claws. It's fine. I'm going to give this one an aesthetic rating of, if it wasn't for these, I would go higher. I'd say probably 8. But these being a different color and the belt looking so off, I'm only going to go 7. It has such a little bit of paint on it. The head is much nicer. You could go 8 still if you wanted to. The head is much nicer than the factory head on the first one. Okay, as far as accessories go, you already saw the 2 different heads. That's fine. We still have the same sets of hands. We have a fist hand and a book holding hand that come on them in the package. Then you get a gripping hand and a wide open hand. That's pretty nice. So we don't get the same accessories otherwise as we did previously. You already saw the jacket. This time we get 2 beakers, one that says X Gene 6, and that one's actually done pretty well with the pink inside. It looks nice. Then we have, they're not both beakers. One's a flask, and I can't remember the names. Anyway, the round one is weird. Why does it have a cylinder of stuff in it rather than a round stuff in it? Because it was too hard to make that way. That looks goofy as hell. So the pink one's nice, the green one's terrible. And then we have the ultimate accessory, which are the glasses, or which is the set of glasses. Glasses is not plural, but it is, so I don't know how that works, how to do that grammatically correctly. So these ones, they're laughably bad. They don't fit him. They don't go over the ears. They just sit in front of the ears. Even in their photos, they just show him sitting like that. And they don't fit on his face. They're basically worthless. And look at the quality of the glasses up close. They're terrible. Let me just do a side-by-side if I can get these to stay on his head, which I don't think I'm going to be able to. Maybe some people got some that were pinched in a little bit more, so there's a little bit of pressure holding them in place, but mine will not stay in place on his head. They do not fit him. They're kind of balanced right there. So those are the ones Hasbro, the $5 billion company, made. And those are the ones I made, which actually peg into his head in holes that are hidden by the hair. So even if you take them off, you can't tell there are holes. You gotta be joking me. Like, I know custom stuff is generally, like, you can do better work for custom stuff because it's not mass produced, but this is no different. They should have been able to do a better job with this. These were made by hand in silicone molds and then painted, and then these were made in a factory, and they're not anywhere near as good. And the design, just the choice of having them sit on the ears like this, is pretty ridiculous. Granted, mine's the cartoon look, but that's strictly the look. I'm talking about the glasses themselves. It's like not even close. So these glasses, they might as well not even exist. I can't imagine anybody seeing those and thinking, yes, I want those on my display. They're just terrible. So accessories, because everything's repainted on this figure and all we got is some flasks. They didn't even give us the book. The glasses are terrible. Jacket's okay. I'll go 6 out of 10, but it's not a good set of accessories. They took away stuff and then gave us stuff that is not good, so I don't like that. Okay, as far as the articulation goes, it's going to be the exact same as before. He can look up, he can look down, you get your rotation, that's fine. Butterfly joint is really good for going backward, and then going forward, you get very little, but it is there. Shoulder rotates just fine. Goes out to the side, almost horizontal. That's all right. Bicep swivel is fine. Double jointed elbow gives you plenty of range for being such a bulky guy, so that's really good. Wrists have a swivel and a hinge. We have a diaphragm joint at the top, which is pretty good. I think it's a single ball peg. It does lean side to side relatively well. It leans back, it leans forward. Then for a little bit of extra range, but not going backward, you get the ab crunch, which it should be in the other direction, but whatever. It does help him to lean forward, but still relatively limited considering there's 2 sets of articulation there. It's still relatively limited. For the hips, they go out to the side, not quite all the way, but probably far enough. By the way, there's no waist twist. You only get it up here in the diaphragm joint. Going forward, not quite horizontal, and then there's no range going back. Thigh swivel is very tight, but fine. Double jointed knee works nicely on this guy. No problems there. And then for the ankle, they go all the way back. all the way forward, and you have a decent ankle rocker, but the toe hinge is very loose and too far back on the foot. Still, same problem as before. So his articulation is solid. I'll give it an 8 for Marvel Legends standards. It's pretty darn good. Definitely some room for improvement. But as a release, is this one worth getting if you have the original release? I would argue only if you really want a lab coat, and there are custom options out there. Kyle's wife, I think, made some for him to sell back when the first Beast came out, and they were better, or at least as good as this. I didn't look at them that close, but you can get custom ones, so I don't know if you want to track down this Beast. You could just get the other jacket if you wanted to, especially if you already have this Beast and my head with the glasses. There's really no need for this Beast unless you want a purpley Beast with a slightly better normal head, but the glasses are no good. Like, it's just, they did half measures, at best half measures, more like third measures. It just isn't a strong release for replacing the original one. It's okay. So I'm going to give it a final rating of 7, a generous 7 out of 10. Base body is still good, new head is good, accessories below, big time this time, and you have less shading, which in some ways is good because the other one did have too much in a bad way, but other problems exist on this release. So it's like, I'm not sure it's worth it. You guys are going to have to decide for yourself what you think about that. But there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos every day but Wednesday, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.